I'm the administrator for the Golden Rain Foundation, and it's indeed my pleasure and honor that I have this opportunity to welcome all of you to this gathering here this morning, because this is indeed a historical event for Seal Beach Leisure World. And yes, we did it! So many of you have worked so hard in making this day today a reality. And so many of other people who you may not see this morning here, but they have also worked very hard in the background, and some are no longer with us today. And I do want to thank each and every one of you for such an effort for getting the sound wall built, which is going to start very quickly and very soon. To welcome you all here, the Golden Rain Foundation, as you know, is the entity and the organization which is responsible for organizing and managing the Seal Beach Leisure World community. And it's my privilege to have you meet with the leader of this community for this year, and who has been living in this community for many, many years, has taken tremendous amount of interest in seeing to it that Seal Beach Leisure World continues to be one of the best places to live. And yes, we have one more thing now to add it into our wonderful living. The president of the Golden Rain Foundation, along with all of the Golden Rain Foundation members and many of the mutual presidents, are here this morning to celebrate this occasion and to welcome you all and say a few words. Would you please all join me in welcoming Mrs. Mildred Tuttle, president of the Golden Rain Foundation.
Thank you. Thank you all for coming. I wish to thank all of those individuals who through the years have been persistent in their drive to accomplish the sound wall. Two of the primary advocates for this project were Mutuals 11 and 15. At one point, Mutual 15 was prepared to loan $62,500 from their reserves to hasten the building of the wall. The City of Seal Beach and the Golden Rain Foundation were also prepared to contribute to this effort. However, there was no guarantee the loan would ever be repaid. As early as 1982, residents were writing letters hoping to convince the Department of Transportation that the traffic noise level was great enough to merit the construction of the wall. Finally, through the efforts of the City of Seal Beach, the Golden Rain Foundation, Orange County Supervisor James Silva, Caltrans, Mr. Bill Narang, Administrator, Mutuals 11 and 15, and many residents, including Mr. Paul Snow, Mr. Tom Lyon, Mr. Tom Barrett, and Mr. George Brown, the sound wall is becoming a reality. Once again, thank you all for your perseverance in your pursuit of this much-needed contribution to noise abatement. And thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Tuttle. You know, for the last 12 years, since I've been working with so many elected officials, so many residents, and so many other people who have helped us, from the supervisor staff, from the City of Seal Beach staff, we really have had an uphill battle. Even though, as Mr. Tuttle stated, that we were willing to put up the money to build this wall. The residents of this community were committed, and they did want that wall. Now, we're so thankful to those officials this morning. And every time I wanted to have a meeting with an elected official, I had to call on somebody to see if they could arrange. You know their schedule is so tight and so difficult to get in touch with them. But the support staff of the supervisor's office, the City of Seal Beach office, have been very helpful to me in giving us the time. And one person who I have worked very hard for the last many, many years, and it's been very helpful to me, not on the Golden Rain Foundation, as a member of the foundation, as a president of the mutual corporation, but also now as a member of the city council. He has indeed given me the path to go and talk to people and present your views about why this wall should be built. Would you please all welcome Mr. George Brown, our council member and ex-mayor of the city of Seal Beach, and
Thank you very much. Today's meeting really is one of Jim Silva's Day. The reason I say that, when I first got involved with the Sound Wall, we had been promised the Sound Wall every year that I could remember that it was going to be the following year we were going to get it. It never happened. And when I got involved with it and I found out that we were something like 56th on the list for next year, that bothered me. We went out and we went to Jim Silva's office, and he had an attorney there that worked very closely with us. And over a period of about 3 weeks, we went from 56th to 3rd. And that's why we're here today with the Sound Wall, because Jim Silva and his office worked with the people at Caltrans and the various other agencies in the County of Orange to get us up the list to where we belong, and we're going to get the Sound Wall today. That's not the only thing that Jim has done for us. We enjoyed our library. That library was going to be sold. The county was closing it down and was going to simply close it down. Through the good office of Jim Silva's office supervisor, he worked with the county and made arrangements so that we could buy that library. So we enjoyed that library. I mention these two things because I'm going to introduce Jim in a moment, but I also want you to remember in June when the election comes up, remember the name Jim Silva for supervisor. He's our current supervisor, and I hope he will be our next supervisor. Jim Silva.
Thank you very much. It's really an honor to be here, and I look out in the audience, and I just can't believe we have such a big turnout. But I think that we're just a small part of the number of people that will be, I think, benefit from the sound wall that's going in. I know last night I talked to my mother, and she said, you know, we really appreciate all the work that's gone into bringing the sound wall in. And I said, well, then I can expect to see you there tomorrow. And she says, oh no, she said, I'm in a shuffleboard tournament. I said, Mom, you're always too busy to come out and hear your son speak. And she said, well, one of these days. But I know that it's very important to an awful lot of people, even the people that were not able to make it today. And we're gathered today to celebrate the construction of a wall that should have been here, I know, back in 1964 when that freeway went in. The wall should have been part of the freeway plan. But in government, money is always short and or in short supply, and it's taken us a long time to get where we are. I think we're making noise today to celebrate silence for tomorrow. And silence has long been sought after, and I think very soon it's going to become a reality. And I look out in the audience and I see a lot of representatives, people that have stood very firm in the sound wall, and I think that none of this would take place if we didn't have the support of the residents that live here. I know when I met with, it was then Mayor George Brown, and he always had a list of things that he was very concerned with. The library was, I think, one of our top concerns in the beginning, but soon it was the sound wall. So even though we're up here at the podium today talking about, you know, how excited we are, I think we have to remember that there's some people that gave us encouragement every step of the way. Is Russ Lightcap here? Russ Lightcap is a resident of Rossmore, and he was also the former director of Caltrans District 12, and he was a top supporter of this project. And he never let Caltrans forget how important it is. I'm sorry that Russ is not here because I would like for him to be acknowledged. Also, I mentioned Councilman and former Mayor George Brown. He approached me, I think it was about 2.5 years ago, when we really started to focus in on the sound wall after the library was taken care of. let's see, Tom Barrett, is Tom here? Okay, Tom, would you stand up so people can see you? Paul Snow. Tom Lyons. These are just a few of the people that were working very hard on your behalf to make sure that this sound wall is not going to fall between the cracks. We should also reflect back and think about the assemblyman that was able to get this on track in the first place. Former Assemblyman Dennis Brown. Dennis? Dennis was our assemblyman, but he is now Chief of Staff for State Senator Ross Johnson. It's nice seeing you, Dennis, as always. And then we had Assemblyman Tom Mays, who was able to get the wall included in a STIP cycle, which was the funding mechanism that we needed. I don't see Tom here, but Tom was there when we really needed this project to move forward. Visual residents, I think, should also be acknowledged, because if it wasn't for the residents out there pushing and the Golden Ring Foundation, this wouldn't take place. And I think the lightning rod behind this whole project has been Golden Ring. Bill, would you stand up one more time, please? I always enjoy talking to Bill and say, Jim, how are you doing? How's your mom? And then the next thing is the issues that he's concerned with. And he's very focused. I like that. There would be, actually, there's been all kind of excuses why we couldn't have the wall. I know the state of California has priorities. We have 80 assemblymen, we have 40 state senators, and they're lobbying every day for projects. But I think that this project that we're doing right now has been one of the key projects for Orange County for a long time. I know when I brought it up at Caltrans, all of a sudden other board members at OCTA, Orange County Transit Authority, said, hey, we've got some sound walls in our community that we want. But because this sound wall has been on the drawing boards for so long, we're able to kind of move it ahead and get it in place. And that's not to say that the others are not important, other parts of the county, but this has been put off way too long. I am delighted to be here today to help you celebrate, and I'd like to see us make some noise about the silence that we're going to have tomorrow. So. And in closing, I'd like to acknowledge one more person as the mayor of Seal Beach, Marilyn Hastings. Could you please stand up? This lady did not forget your wall. She was out there every meeting we had. So thank you, Marilyn. And let's celebrate.
Supervisor Silva, I want to thank you, because all the residents of Beach Leisure World are very blessed that you had the wisdom and the courage to stand with us and fight with those naysayers that who said this can't be done. And I'm really appreciative of your efforts that you have been so helpful with us. You know, Supervisor Silva has a very able person, and she's going to be probably the happiest woman on the face of this earth, because when I recognize her and you see her, you will know why. Because very shortly, and I asked her to promise me that she would not deliver her baby today here. Stephanie, sweetie, Stephanie, would you please stand? Stephanie has worked very hard with Supervisor Silva to make sure that lot of the appointments we were looking for, we do get them. There are some other people here this morning that I want to recognize before we introduce our next speaker. We have, I'd like you to please all of you can stand. We have a council member, Mr. Harry Wilson here. Mr. Wilson. Past president of the Golden Rain Foundation, Mr. Lundgren is here. Mr. Paul Snow, who is the president of the Golden Rain Foundation. And we also have, as you've been notified, that Ms. Lyon has been very helpful in promoting the cause of this wall. And he was the one who gave me the sound reading meter. I want you to know that meter I still remember very well because that's what really put this wall over the edge. Mr. Lyon, thank you very much for all your help. Lisa Mills is here. Lisa has been working very hard for the California Transportation Department. Lisa, where are you? She's there, way back there. City Manager Keith Till is here with us this morning to celebrate with us. Keith, thank you. I do want to recognize two particular residents who have been in the background very much helpful to us in promoting this thing and making sure that everyone knows that they are the one who are looking for us to be in the forefront to get this wall. A resident of Mutual 15, B. Ray, B. Would you please stand? Thank you for all your efforts. And we also have another resident of Mutual 15, Dora Leonard. Dora, thanks for all your efforts and all your respect. To introduce our next speaker, I want you to know that this lady was also the mayor of City of Seal Beach too. And she indeed worked very hard in trying to promote this community through the various different cities and counties offices. And I have worked with her very hard, and she has taken the opportunity to come here with us this morning to celebrate Mrs. Edna Wilson Sharp.
Thank you, Bill. I am so delighted with this. We worked so hard from the time I got on City Council in 1984 up through 1990. And I want to give credit to Joe Hunt. He helped me all through this. And if it hadn't been for Dora Leonard, every time I'd see her on the golf course, she'd say, how about that sound wall? Well, every time we talked to Caltrans or anybody, we'd hit a stone wall. But it has finally come to fruition, and I am so delighted with it. And I'd like to know, Mayor Hastings, would you like to say a word?
No, you're the one that deserves it.
I'm not as pretty as she is.
You really make it difficult for Rosie. You know, when I was elected to City Council in 1990, this lady was on council, and all she talked about was this sound wall at Lakeshore World, and we were all committed in Seal Beach to help you all with this sound wall. And like Jim Silva, I'm so sorry it took so long to achieve what was so necessary for your peace and your quality of life here. Edna Wilson, you're the one that really deserves the kudos here because you are the one that worked so hard at the City Council level. Joe Hunt, of blessed memory, he sat always down at the other end from me, gave me a hard time. It was fun. And these two were always there pushing and pushing and pushing. And I think there's another council person and past mayor that needs to come up and share the light for this. And this is my good friend, George Brown. George, you come up here. You represent the city too. Come on. Our other one, we had a city manager leave, onto La Habra, that was Jerry Bankston. And when we were looking for a city manager, we wanted a can-do guy, because we just didn't want to set things on the back burner and let it kind of simmer and simmer and simmer. So what we did, we looked, I guess there were about 60 or 70 candidates. Keith Till, will you come up? I really think you ought to know this city manager. This is Keith, he's our can-do guy. And we have a city engineer, Steve Batum, who is just absolutely outstanding. And as you all know, we really couldn't have done it without Jim Silva. So Jim, you come on. These are your elected officials that have worked so hard, along with all of you, to achieve what you've achieved today. And believe me, without Mr. Moran, Mr. Brown, Dennis, Mr. Fulton. All right, now you have us all, and these are the people, elected officials, and officials within the city and within the county that work so hard for you. It's my pleasure and I'm honored to be invited here today. And Edna, you're the gal that should take most of the credit.
Now you know how many people are behind the success of this wall, but some of you may be wondering who's going to really build the wall. And the person who is responsible for getting this entire project now going and becoming a reality, of course all of the staff is here this morning. We will thank them for their efforts in designing and then ultimately putting this project together so it can be started very quickly. I do want to let you know an individual who has been so helpful to me. He's the District Division Chief Project Management person, and he's the one who has insisted upon his staff and met with us on numerous occasions with Supervisor Silva to see to it that the project continues to remain in the front course of the budget and funding as it is approved by the various regulatory agencies. Would you please all welcome Mr. Jim Beal, Captain, District Division Chief.
Thank you and good morning. I want to say some of our controversy. You wonder why? Because as Supervisor Sullivan implied, this sound wall represents improved quality of life to this community. And after many years of statewide priority debates about sound wall funding by lawmakers and policymakers up in Sacramento, this sound wall has finally arrived. It's time to celebrate this community. And Caltrans gives credit to this community and the many local elected officials and the community leaders of Leisure World who have helped promote the need, priority, and the funding for this wall. And really, I want to just congratulate you all for your efforts to improve the quality of life of this community. Thank you.
Now, Assemblyman Bob was invited, but because of his working schedule, he's not here this morning, but I do have one of his assistant here, Director of Constituent Affairs, Assemblyman Bob's office, Ms. Dion Lewis. Would you please recognize her? Thank you, ma'am. I don't want to minimize the fact that you see so many of us here. We recognize, but I do want all of you to please give the tremendous applause to many of the residents who really made this wall a reality. Your letters, your telephone calls, your insistence, you're calling my office, you're calling Supervisor Silva's office, you're constantly calling the Golden Rain Foundation office, has indeed kept us going and marching forward for this project. So I want to thank all the residents of Leisure World, of Mutual 15, Mutual 11, Mutual 10, and so many of you who have been here. Thank you for your support and your help. What we're going to do is, we will go through that door and we're going to go back to our library, and then out of the library we opened up our entrance there so we can go back and show you where the wall will be built. I hope most of you had the opportunity to look at the fact sheet which has been put by Caltrans. You know what this wall is going to be, how long it is going to be, how high it is going to be, and what the schedule is. You will be able to see that, and we will continue to publish in our newspaper the progress of the wall and when that project finishes. We're going to all go back there, then we'll come back here and we have refreshment for you in room number 9. Would you please all join us to go there and then come back here. And thank you very much for coming this morning. We're going to go through that door.
We got you, Fred.
Jim, come here. There you go, Jim. There you go, Marilyn. By the way, I want you to know this shovel is from the administration building. 1988, we built that building. It's still here.
Building on the shovel.
I think we can. Maybe we can come in closer. This way.
Administration.
Come on, Jim, come. There you go. Now we get it. Okay. Kevin, where are you? You want to release the balloons, Kevin? Ladies and gentlemen, now we want you to know that we officially will have the wall built. Jim, you can tell them when you're going to start this bill? Jim says the work is already started now. There you go. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Brown. Thank you, Mr. Howell. Thank you. Thank you. Well, you got to work now, you know. We all got to get you working here. Right now. They want a coffee break, so we're going to go back and have refreshment in room number 9. They've already done their work. Thank you.
No, it's too dull.
Come down with that.